Mr. Chairman, I move to strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and the ranking member for considering this bill today, and I'm proud to be an original co-sponsor of H.R. 1204, which would authorize in statute the Aviation Security Advisory Committee, or ASAC. We all remember a few months ago when the administrator of the TSA, John Pistole, announced that the TSA was going to allow knives to go back onto airplanes. I immediately, along with other members of this committee, raised objections, and with Ranking Member Thompson and Congressman Grimm of New York, led a letter of 133 members to TSA in protest of the decision. While I understood TSA's interest in risk-based security, and I also support it, knives still do present a risk, and we have to learn how to walk and chew gum, meaning protecting against old risks while also identifying and protecting against new risks. Many stakeholders, including flight attendants, pilots, screeners, passenger groups, and airlines, were similarly opposed. They knew allowing knives on planes would pose a danger to passengers and crew. Fortunately, after much debate and protest, TSA listened to reason and reversed itself. While I was very happy with this result, a lot of time and effort was needlessly wasted. This could have been avoided if TSA had meaningfully consulted with the stakeholders first. Even Administrator Pistole admitted that he could have done better in this area, and while I applaud him for reversing the decision and appreciate his engagement on the issue, I would like to codify the ASAC process. By putting ASAC in statute, as H.R. 1204 does, I hope TSA gets the message that it should use this mechanism to vet and develop security procedures before coming to a conclusion. And it will ensure that ASAC authority never lapses, as TSA has let it do so in the past. I also want to quickly mention another aviation security issue which I think ASAC could be helpful with, and that is the issue of secondary barriers. As many of you may remember, after September 11th, Congress mandated that cockpit doors be reinforced. No one ever wants to see again terrorists, hijackers, or other criminals breaking into the cockpit. Unfortunately, despite having cockpit reinforced doors, vulnerability still remains. If anyone has been on a plane, they know that on any long flight, the pilots will leave the cockpit during the flight to use the bathroom. Various airlines have various means in which they protect the cockpit while the pilots are using the airlines. Some airlines, we have come to learn, have flight attendants standing themselves as the only guard between any passengers in the cabin area and the cockpit. And this simply leaves passengers and crew at unnecessary risk to another terrorist attack happening. So what I would like to see and what I am supporting is that we would have mandatory secondary barriers in all of our airplanes. Studies have shown these gates are cost-effective and protect pilots by giving them critical extra time should someone want to breach the cockpit door. There is a bill, H.R. 1775, sponsored by Mr. Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, of which I'm proud to be a co-sponsor, which would direct the FAA to require secondary barriers. The Airline Pilots Association is strongly supportive of putting in this extra layer of security, and the ASAC presents a great opportunity for it and other stakeholders to discuss this issue and help push it forward. I'd also strongly suggest that the ASAC take up how we can strengthen other protections for the cockpit. Additionally, this issue should be monitored by our committee, the Committee on Homeland Security. I know H.R. 1775 is in the Transportation Committee's jurisdiction, but what we're talking about here is ultimately aviation security, and that is the province of this committee. If we can't get the FAA to act, maybe it's time for the TSA to step in. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the balance of my time.
I thank the gentleman. Is there any further discussion on the amendment? There being no further discussion, the question now occurs on the amendment to H.R. 1204 offered by Mr. Richmond. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. The opinion of the